So guys, I hope you're all doing well and you're absolutely crushing it. In this video, I've got a lot of value to share with you guys. So we're going to be going over the levels of wealth and how that correlates directly to systems. And we're going to be talking systems related to OFM. So if you're looking to start an OFM agency or you're already running one, then this video is for you. You're going to see exactly the systems that you need in order to get to the next step from where you're at, okay? So the first thing to talk about is increasing leverage. So when I'm talking about these systems, what's happening is that we're increasing the leverage that our agency has, okay? And the more that we increase our leverage, the more money we're going to be generating, because the more systems we've got to leverage when it comes to fulfilling results for our customers. And in our case, it's working with OF models, and specifically working with these OF models, helping them scale their account, and that's where we get paid, okay? So within this business model, we do a percent based on rev share. So it really allows us to just make as much money as we want based on the value that we provide to the models. So the first stage, or the first level, is level 1, and that's at 2K to 10K a month with a model recruitment system, okay? That's the only system that you need in place to be making anywhere from 2 to 10K a month. Now, admittedly, you're not going to be working with the best models. You're not going to be delivering a good service. And as a result of not delivering a good service, you're going to experience these issues within the agency. However, you can be making 2 to 10K a month just from recruiting models alone, purely based on the fact that you're just able to sign these high ticket models, and they're going to be paying you a monthly basis, and depending on how long you keep them, if your service delivery isn't that good, it may be 2 to 3 months. Obviously, we want to improve that. We want to have a lot better service delivery. So 2 to 10K a month you'll be making with the model recruitment system. And if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know the model recruitment system that we have in place works, and it signs high ticket OnlyFans models. Literally, a student within our program last week installed the model recruitment system, and he signed a 30K a month model. Now, as you can see, we have the attraction stage, so attracting these clients to be interested within the business. Then we have a commitment from them. So there's one stage where you have people who know about you. The next stage is getting them to do a micro commitment, so committing to exchanging information in exchange for something. In our case, we use an OF audit. In other people's cases, I've seen you can get really creative with this. We have people doing offering kind of shout outs on Instagram theme pages, offering access to exclusive Telegram groups which have other models, and they do Twitter retweets for retweets. They're called Twitter drops. So you can get really creative, but the point is, to get them to commit, you need to offer something of value to them. If you're not offering something of value to them, then they're just never going to commit, and you're always going to be stuck at that stage. And quite frankly, if you're not offering some value up front, then why should they work with you? They don't have any trust with you. They don't really know you. The only way you can build that trust is through giving some value, so they understand, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. Chances are I can trust them when they're going to offer this. Now, we have nurture. So that's the next step, which is once they've done the micro commitment, that's not enough. You need to nurture that interaction until the point where they actually start building more trust for you, okay? Now, nurturing can take place in form of the actual client attraction asset that we use to get them to commit. So if you give them value, that's nurturing that relationship. It can be in the form of offering them a little bit more assistance, offering them more resources to help them out, or it can be as simple as just sending them a DM to just kind of check in on them, check in how their OF page is doing, saying, hey, how's your OF page doing? I know last time we spoke, you were struggling with this. Is there anything I can help you out with? And that's just building that relationship further. And then we have the close. So that's when you schedule in a call with them, you close them on the call. Within my program, we actually have a walkthrough of a sales call. So it's literally me on a sales call with a model, and it's just a very easy close, purely based on the fact that we had this system in place. And it's a really high ticket model as well. So this is kind of it in a little bit more technical terms. So as you can see, using a virtual assistant, sending cold DMs, offer client attraction asset, collect the info, nurture them, and then we book in a call, and then we close them. It's very simple, okay? Once you've got the model recruitment system in place, so you've got like a tracking sheet, for example, to track the DMs being sent, track the follow-ups. You've got your client attraction asset built. You've got a good website in place to build that trust, and then you're good with the sales call. Then you go on to the next stage, which is 10 to 50K a month, level 2. And at this stage, this is what you need. So you need a Reddit system in place. I get lots and lots of questions from people asking about Reddit, whether they do in the suicide method. Personally, what we use a virtual assistant. And the virtual assistant goes on these accounts and manages the whole Reddit operation. And all you need to do is you need to set up the accounts, give the virtual assistant standard operating procedures in place, and they just execute the standard operating procedures on these accounts, and it's going to be growing them up, okay? So then we also use Reels, okay? Reels on IGs is absolutely crushing it at the moment. But the trick with the Reels is that you want to be mass producing them, okay? So one Reel isn't quite good enough. You want to make sure that you're uploading at least 2 Reels a day. Now, I understand that there may be quite a big ask for yourself from the model. However, the trick to understand is that models are willing to do this. You just need to find the right model, which is why that model recruitment system is so important. I see so many people signing bad quality models, and you need to understand from an OFM standpoint, we're stepping in and we're assisting growth, okay? It's their business. They're the person who's creating the content. We can only accentuate them. So the model that you sign is absolutely crucial because it's their business, and you need to work with a good client who's willing to grow their account in order to be able to grow it yourself, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that if a model account isn't going well, then you just blame the model. I see a lot of people doing that. They just blame the model that it's not going well. In that case, you need to take full responsibility, okay? So maybe I need to improve my operation when it comes to the system. Maybe I need to improve my operation when it comes to the actual signing better quality models in the first place. Why do we sign this model in the first place? So in general, for every model that you sign, you need to make sure that she's motivated to grow her account, okay? Don't be signing these bad quality models. And trust me, there are a lot of high quality models out there. There's lots of models who are making 10K a month on OnlyFans. There's thousands upon tens of thousands of models who are doing that, okay? So we have Reels in place, so we get them to create the Reels. We then tweak it on our end so it doesn't get flagged when we post it out across multiple accounts, and then we can post it. We also have botting, so we have a FetLife bot, we have dating apps bot, which we use in place, which is very easy. It's kind of like once you set it up, away it goes. And this botting can develop the account further, so it can get you more subscribers through these different platforms, as long as you're funneling them in correctly. We have the Twitter system. The Twitter system that we're using at the moment is absolutely crushing it. With scaled model accounts from literally doing 2 to 3K a month all the way up to around about 40K a month just from Twitter alone. So that's the power of having a really good Twitter system. The mix of the Twitter system is kind of using virtual assistants to actually scale it up. Virtual assistants using a very unique comment strategy that we have in place, and as well as that strategy, implementing Twitter drops, stuff like that, okay? Then we have a Discord system, so as well we have virtual assistants on Discord. Now that depends on the model's niche, so if the model is an e-girl, then I would recommend Discord in that case, but that's where model niching comes in play. So you need to look at the model's niche, look at where you should be targeting, and based on that, you can then select the best platforms for her, okay? So it's really easy to go from level 1 to level 2. You just need to have a little bit of structure, and you need to have these systems in place when it comes to implementing and growing the account, okay? So we have level 3. Now, level 3 is where it really shines through as an outstanding agency, and it's lots of people are missing this. Okay, now very simply, level 3 is wolf-feed management. So managing the wolf-feed of the model, effectively managing it to get more DMs coming through and to increase the actual community engagement as well. Then we have pay-per-view scheduling, which I see so many people do wrong, when there's such a simple strategy that you can implement with pay-per-view scheduling to actually just skyrocket the sales. But too many people are just trying, testing stuff out, and they're just not seeing it working, where we have a very simple, streamlined pay-per-view scheduling that we implement on all our model accounts, which absolutely crushes it every single time. You then have whale identification. So you get these high-ticket spenders that come through within OnlyFans. You want to make sure that you're identifying the high-ticket spenders from the time wasters, and that you're putting different strategies in place for the different stage that our model is at, that a subscriber is at. So if you've got a low-ticket spender coming in, then you want to make sure that you're just sending out lots of pay-per-views to them, because occasionally if a pay-per-view hooks them, it's going to be very engaging to them. Now, if you have a high-ticket spender that comes through, you want to identify that, and you don't want to be putting them through the exact same pay-per-views as you're putting the low-ticket spenders through, because otherwise you're going to end up saturating that spender. They're going to feel bombarded by a bunch of messages that are just trying to sell content and trying to make money. When in actual fact, if you identified that they were a whale, you spent time building the rapport and building that relationship, then they're going to be a much higher ticket spender within the account, because they have a deeper relationship. And that's where you put them through sexton sets. So you build out sexton sets with your model, you push them through the sexton sets, you're going to be generating more money from that. And then you have neurolinguistic programming techniques. So this is what you use on the whales that you identify. And it's a way of just building that relationship. So there's a deeper relationship from the subscriber towards the model, and they're much more engaged with the content that's coming out, and they spend lots more money. Okay, now I paid for a neurolinguistic programming specialist to work with the agency and to actually excel our neurolinguistic programming techniques, because I realized the importance of that within the OnlyFans space. It's all about building a really deep connection with the high ticket spenders within the account, so you get tons and tons of money from them. Okay, you know, for example, in most accounts, you're going to be making 20% of the revenue from subscriptions. You're going to be making 80% of the revenue from subscribers, from the actual chatting itself. Now, when you're making 80% of revenue from the chatting, you need to understand that it's also got that same split within the subscribers coming through. So 20% of the subscribers, or you have 80% of the subscribers are just low ticket spenders, and then you have 20% of the subscribers that are high ticket spenders, and you want to make sure that you're driving them to the max in terms of the money that they're spending within the account. So I hope that makes sense in terms of that split, and why it's really important that you have a thorough process when it comes to identifying those high ticket spenders and nurturing them the right way in order to grow that account. You can literally, it's the difference between an account doing 3K a month and an account just doing 20K a month from just the chatting operation alone taking place. That's not including the promotion, of course, that's very important, but just from implementing chatting, you can get an account from 3K to 20K a month very, very quickly. You need to make sure that you're thoroughly looking at the subscribers coming through and really taking time to identify whether they're a whale, and then based on that, putting them through a particular neurolinguistic program to actually to make them as lucrative as possible. Okay, and then on top of this, we have complementary systems. Okay, so this is the basic systems that you need: a model recruitment system, a promotional system, and a chatting system. And if you've got these three systems working very well, then you'll be making at least 50K a month, at least. So from that, we have complementary systems, which is onboarding. So an onboarding system, which basically streamlines the process of onboarding them to, recruiting them to actually getting them fully understanding how the agency works, how they're best to contact you. You want to make sure it's as efficient as possible, because if you're lacking that efficiency, then the model's going to pick up on that. And that's time that's wasted where you could be making money within the model's account. And you want the experience to be as good as possible for the model from the get-go, okay? We then have chatter training and onboarding. So these are standard operating procedures that you should have within the agency. So obviously, as you take on more models, you're going to need more chatters. So as a result of needing more chatters, you need to make sure that you're effectively training and onboarding them, okay? You don't want to be signing a chatter who you're not 100% sure on. They work within a model's account and they aren't effectively managing that account, because that's going to create issues within your agency. So you need to make sure that the chatters you're onboarding are pre-trained, so they already understand what they need to do when they're in the account, which is why we have a done-for-you chatter system where we already have chatters that we're training for our agency, and we give people within the program access to that as well. And then you have chatter training videos, sexting walkthroughs, all that stuff that you need when it comes to chatters, and you give them a standard operating procedure. This is how you schedule pay-per-views within this account. This is how you identify whales. This is what you need to do when you identify them as a whale. This is the particular sexting script that we use for these accounts. This is how we put them through. So it's just training them on exactly what they need to do inside the account. So no questions are unanswered. They know exactly what they need to do when you get a custom request on the account. All this sort of stuff they need to understand fully. And then we have basic VA management. So with my agency, we hire virtual assistants, and we have virtual assistants for the roles when it comes to promotion. There's some platforms that you just can't automate. So on these platforms, you need to have virtual assistants, and that's as good as you can get with the automation. And then, of course, you have chatters who are virtual assistants within the account as well. Now, with these virtual assistants, you make sure that you're being a good leader for them. And this includes having end-of-day reports set up. So at the end of each day, you get messages come through that are basically giving you the outline of what the account's doing, how, what direction is it heading, what needs improving. You get all the numbers that come along with it as well. So you can get the sales that have been generated from pay-per-views, get the sales that have been generated from sex and sets. You need a thorough end-of-day reporting system with all the virtual assistants on whatever platform they're doing, which was set up within our agency, and we give access to inside our consulting program. We also set up accountability calls, scorecards, so it's a little bit competitive between the virtual assistants. And then you need VA structuring. So in terms of when you get a chatter who's been working for a while, you basically structure them up within the organization so they become a chatting manager. So they still manage high ticket accounts, but at the same time, they're basically overseeing the new chatters who come through and are making sure they're doing the effective job. Because otherwise, when you start working with a team of chatters, being a chatting manager can become a full-time job. So you want to make sure that you're delegating that to virtual assistants as you start to scale up the organization. But that's stuff that you need to worry about when you start making $100K a month from this, okay? So very simple. You can look at this, where you're at, identify what level you are, whether you're level 1, you're level 2, you're level 3, and you need to know what needs improving. Okay, so if you're not making at least 10K a month from your agency, then you need to know that you need to improve your model recruitment system. If you're not making more than 50K a month within your agency, then you need to understand you need to improve your chatting operation. And if you're not quite making 50K a month, then you need to improve your promotional systems. Okay, so a very simple structure. Very simple systemized approach. Start implementing these systems. If you want all these systems given to you from my agency, which have been running for 4 years, then book on a call below and we can schedule a chat about how that looks like. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.